sound good? Yeah, I know it did.
Cool, that song. Gun finna jump for this shit. All top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the fields. Say vivid for the ears.
Yo, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're gonna be doing another long-term owner review. So this is gonna be like part 2, because ever since I released the first long-term owner review, I put about almost 9,000 miles on this car since then. So this is gonna be living with a C43 long-term owner review part 2. So the first thing I want to touch up on is the daily drivability. Like this car, I feel like a lot of people think that just because it's a 2-door coupe vehicle that you can't really daily drive it, but you can. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. Like I've driven this thing in blizzards, I've driven it in snowstorms, I've driven this in the mountains. Okay, so the thing is, like, you have to have winter tires at least, or else you're not gonna make it anywhere. If you don't have winter tires on any vehicle, when it's snowing, you're not gonna make it. Even if it's a Honda, you're not gonna make it. All-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive doesn't matter if you don't have the proper rubbers to support your vehicle. The daily drivability combined with how fun this vehicle is, I think it is unbeatable. You can drive this car all year round and use the full extent of its power. Even when my car was stock, it was very fun to drive. And now that I'm only stage 1, like a stage 1 is just a tune, now that I just have a tune, it like completely like changed the car, like refreshed the vehicle for me. Because when you have a vehicle for like 3 years and you know that there's a lot of good companies out there that can squeeze out a little bit more juice from the engine, then it's a really nice refresher. So go ahead, and if you've had a car for a while and you want a little boost, just get a tune. The daily drivability in this car, mixed with how fun it is, unbeatable. I'd say it's like 10 out of 10. Okay, maybe I'd say it's like a 9 out of 10. For this price, in this price range between the 60 and 70K mark, brand new, I think it is unbeatable. So I feel like space-wise, like this really suits me. Like the seats, for example, the seats are really nice. Like I'm not a super wide dude, but it really is a good mixture between comfort and support. Like I've taken this car on really long road trips and I would drive this car non-stop, like without getting gas, without eating, without going to the bathroom for like 8 hours, and my back wouldn't feel that bad. So on the 2018 model, you couldn't really opt in for the bucket seats, but for the 2019 and 2020 models, you can. So I've driven in the bucket seats before, in the C43S and stuff. I think those are really nice bucket seats. They are a little bit more firm and a little bit stiffer than these seats over here, but I think comfort-wise, it's not gonna really make much of a difference because these seats are already stiff. You might as well go all in and just get the bucket seats. 1, it'll still be a comfortable drive after like 8 hours. 2, it looks cooler. Trunk space in this vehicle is so nice. I fit 2 full-sized luggage bags in here. You can fit more than just 2 full-sized luggage bags. Like the trunk space is amazing. Like I'm in the trunk right now. I'm fully laying down in my trunk. Like I feel like 2 people can fit in here. So the shifts in comfort mode are very, very smooth. It's like kind of driving like a Hyundai or something. But then if you put the car in Sport Plus, it just changes into a completely different monster. Like you can go from a relaxing drive to an absolute bonkers experience because this car is just so fun to drive whenever it's in Sport Plus mode. And I didn't do anything. I promise I didn't do anything. Okay, great, he's leaving. Anyway, so the AMG suspension in this car isn't too forgiving. You can hit the smallest pothole and it'll feel like your car broke in half. So over a year ago, I got a flat tire in this car because of how stiff the ride was, and I wasn't even in Sport Plus mode. I was in comfort, but then again, I was driving through New York and I'd hit a really big pothole. It was so big that my wheel got dented and the rim cut through the entire tire. Like it was like a gash this big. So with that being said, you gotta be careful with potholes, especially when you're in a car with like, I wouldn't say the tires are too low profile, but if you're in a Toyota RAV4 that has a tire like this thick, then you would have survived that pothole. But this is a sports car, it's a performance vehicle, you're not gonna have tires that big. Okay, so to conclude the daily drivability aspect, I'd say it's a banging 9 out of 10. It's a very fun car to drive. Like if you wanna have a nice relaxing drive, this car is the car for you. But if you also wanna have a fun experience while driving your daily drivable vehicle, this is also the car for you, especially if you're in the market for a 60 to 70K vehicle for a brand new car. Yeah, sure, you can get a C43 for 60 grand with like a little bit of miles on it. It's up to you whether or not you want all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. If you want all-wheel drive, this is a great daily driver. I'm not saying you can't daily drive a C63. You can if you live in like California or Florida. Even if you live in snowy Massachusetts or Pennsylvania or anywhere else, you can daily drive a rear-wheel drive car as long as you have the proper tires, and it also depends on what kind of driving experience you want. Like, yeah, the C63 is a lot more playful around corners because all the power is going to the rear, but the C43, like, I feel like people shouldn't knock it off. Like, 70% of the power goes to the rear, 30% goes to the front, and it just launches pretty hard with just a tune as well. I still do think the C43 is a better daily driver than any rear-wheel drive car, only because you still have power going to the front wheels, which means you can stop better and your chances of getting stuck is way lower than being in a rear-wheel drive car. So if you live in a snowy area, I recommend getting the C43 first or the CLA45 or any all-wheel drive car. But if you don't really care, by all means get a rear-wheel drive car, just be a little bit careful. Let's go into like the fun aspect of this car. This car is really fun to drive. Like even when the car was stock, I didn't really feel the need to add any extra power to it because I felt like it was enough. Like it was fun to drive, it was pretty quick off the line, and it sounds so good. The whole point of having fun in this car is to put the car in Sport Plus mode and in manual mode. If you hit the button just once, it'll go into Sport Handling mode, and that'll allow you to have a little bit of fun around corners, but you can hold it down all the way and that'll completely turn off traction. The gearbox and the paddles in this car is so responsive. I feel like 99% of the time, it works very well. And why is it only 99% of the time? Well, there is 1% of the time when sometimes when I'll downshift, the car will be like, downshift? What is a downshift? The car won't respond. Like, it's not like I'll downshift and then there'll be like a delay. It just won't downshift at all. And that's why I give it a 99%. Like, it doesn't happen all the time, and that's why I give it a 99%. But when it does happen, like, my brain gets confused. I'm like, okay, I downshifted, I should be in 4th. Oh wait, why am I still in 5th? You know, no car is perfect. Every car has its pros and cons. Okay, so let's get into like, I guess the cons of this car. The cons of this car is that it's not a V8. And I think that's also a beautiful thing at the same time, because AMG isn't just about V8s. Like, they have the 4 cylinders, the 6 cylinders, the 8 cylinders obviously, and the 12 cylinders. But for it being a V6, I think it is a very good car. Do I think it's a full-fledged AMG? No, this car is not a full-fledged AMG. But just because the CLA45 has 4 cylinders and the C43 has 6 doesn't mean it's not an AMG. Also, people really care about whether the car is handcrafted or not. You shouldn't really care if the car was put together by hand or not. Like, it doesn't matter whether one person or a machine put the engine together. It's about the driving experience. Like, let's say, for example, the C63 had the V8, but it was built by a machine. I guarantee you people would still buy that car because it's so fun to drive. People wouldn't care if it's handcrafted or not. There's no button anywhere to open the trunk from the outside. But with that being said, you could just swing your foot under and do that. Like, it works pretty well, but now that I have an aftermarket diffuser on the vehicle, it makes it a little bit hard to do that though, because this aftermarket diffuser is so much bigger than the stock diffuser that sometimes when you try to kick your foot under, it won't work. And that's an annoying thing. But yeah, another bad thing about this car is that if I didn't modify it from like the outside, like if I didn't put any aesthetic mods, it would almost look like a C300 coupe. The only differences between the C300 coupe and the C43 coupe from my model year, 2018 model, is the grille. Like the C43 has a different grille. The front vent, I think, on the C300 is a little bit smaller than the C43. Besides the grille, the exhaust tips are different, but barely. So the C300 kind of has like that wide, like oval shaped exhaust tip. The C43 has like that wide ovular shape exhaust tip, but like with a slant down the middle. And I think that was such a lazy design for my model year. Like they definitely upgraded the 2019 and 2020 C43s. So for my model year, yeah, it does look like a C300 coupe, but it does have the AMG enhanced engine. It has the AMG brakes, the AMG suspension, the 9-speed transmission from AMG, the exhaust. And have I ever had any problems with this car? No, I have never had any problems with this car. Have I ever had the battery die on me? No. Like I left this car off for 2 weeks once when I went on vacation, and I came back and turned it on and it was good. So reliability is on point. Is it fun to drive? Yeah, it's very fun to drive. Is it a good daily driver? Yes. So yeah, there you go. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that way you get notified whenever I upload a video. See you in the next one.
Dump finna jump for the shit all top when I speak all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there.